And tonight with breaking news as we come on the air here, San Antonio firefighters working the scene of a grass fire on the far south side. This is a live picture of that scene here from Sky 12.
Yeah, about 30 fire units on the scene out there along Highway 281. This is near Mission Grande and Del Lago Parkway. Details limited right now, but you can see it is an active fire as we speak. We have a KSAT crew on the way along with Sky 12 that you're looking at right now.
And we are going to keep you updated on this developing story as we get more information about this firefight on air and online.
Meanwhile, we have a breaking news update to give you about that construction accident we first told you about at 5 o'clock. According to SAFD officials, a piece of industrial machinery fell on a worker. That is a bulldozer that you see overturned right there.
Yeah, this happening on Calle Rialto near Ralph Fair Road and I-10, about 10 miles south of Bernie. The person involved in the accident was dead when fire crews got on the scene.
We'll be sure to keep you updated on this developing story as well. But now, a problem bar leading to a city promise. Last month, the city of San Antonio ruling Twin Sisters Cantina at the corner of Hackberry and Drexel Street would be shut down temporarily.
But now another legal win for neighbors who say that they are fed up with the chaos there. Alicia Barrera on the city's east side speaking to neighbors about what comes next.
It's been about 3 weeks of peace and quiet in this East Side neighborhood.
We haven't really heard anything. It's been much more calm.
Jasmine Trinidad has a 2-year-old daughter, and they, along with other neighbors, hope a family-friendly business can replace the bar Twin Sisters Cantina.
A tire shop, something that will be useful for people that live around here.
I just pray and I hope that, we can see more successful businesses prosper, specifically people from this neighborhood.
Last week, the Building Standards Board got an inside look of the problematic property that led to hundreds of service calls and dozens of shootings.
You can see the type of destruction that would go on inside the building. This wasn't an establishment that they cared for the building.
Ramiro Guerra with the city of San Antonio presented pictures to the board showing holes in the wall, blood on the ground, trash, poor construction, and other evidence of dangerous conditions. Ultimately, the Citizen Board determined the structure should be demolished, at least partially.
Staff recommends repairs to the main, demolition to the room additions, remove the food truck, and keep the structural property secured and clean.
We reached out to Todd Taylor. He's the lawyer representing the owner of this property, and he says his client is on board with the demolition, and currently they're actually looking at bids to sell the property, and it could be in the next coming days, perhaps by the end of this week, that we learn exactly when that tear down and what's to come for this business. Live on the city's east side, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Hope it's permanently closing time out there. Thank you, Alicia. Black History Month once again packed with events and activities. This year's theme, promoting health and wellness while still celebrating how far Black people have come and their accomplishments then and now.
Now, although it is not taught in grades K through 12, Jesse Degollado tells us that a new law was written in response to critical race theory that could affect how educators and their students talk about racism during Black History Month.
As if teachers didn't already have their hands full trying to get students back up to speed after virtual learning and overcoming the impact of the Omicron variant on schools.
73% of Bill 3 is finally passed.
The last session of the Texas legislature adopted SB 3, what some call the classroom censorship bill.
Educators should not engage in conversations that speak to current events or to race and ethnicity that would make others feel uncomfortable.
And if they do, the State Board of Education member says they need to give both sides.
The problem with that is, how do you balance a conversation around slavery?
I really feel bad for teachers who are in K through 12 who are trying to address these kinds of issues in the milieu that they're in right now.
Trinity University's co-director of African American Studies says, as an example, under SB 3, teachers can talk about civil rights pioneers.
But then you have to talk about the underlying current of segregation that led them there.
I can guarantee you, if you're a student of color, especially an African-American student, they're not teaching your history.
But SACAM's director says beyond the classroom, there are other resources, like its website and museum. Yet given what came out of Austin last year,
how do teachers get into what Black History Month is actually about?
I think that we can work around and past SB3 to really celebrate the lives, the histories, the contributions of Black Americans.
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
We now know the name of a man who San Antonio police say was driving drunk and killed himself in a rollover crash over the weekend. He's identified as 24-year-old Devin Perez. That's according to the Bexar County Medical Examiner's office. This crash happened Sunday morning on Highway 90 near West Military. Police say that Perez hit a guardrail, then overcorrected and flipped over the other guardrail on the opposite side of the highway. That caused his car to roll over. He was not wearing a seatbelt and died there at the scene.
A motorcyclist in the hospital tonight after a crash that caused an exit ramp on Loop 410 to be closed for hours this morning. That crash happened just after 1 a.m. on the exit to I-35 near Walsham Road. San Antonio police said the motorcyclist didn't know how they crashed, but somehow lost control. He was taken to BAMC. No other vehicles were involved.
A local credit union says it has seen a drastic increase in a specific phishing scam, apparently targeting people with 210 area codes. In just the past 2 weeks, Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union says that it has seen nearly $1 million worth of attempted fraud. The scam consists of fake text messages about suspicious account activity, followed by a call from a scammer with a spoofed number. Now, the goal is to get you to tell them a one-time passcode that the actual credit union does send as a security measure. So RBFCU is warning customers to be vigilant.
The biggest thing, and what we always say, is if you didn't initiate the contact, don't give out any information, any personal information, whether it be a one-time passcode, card number, username, password.
The credit union says that scammers typically already have some personal information, in some cases even usernames. The company believes that a data breach from outside the credit union, plus a type of cyber attack called credential stuffing, could be behind this spike in scam attempts.
Let's go to our trust index now. Our latest question in the KSAT trust index has to do with the vaccines that have now been fully approved by the FDA, which include the Pfizer and Moderna shots. A KSAT viewer sent in a claim he saw saying the newly branded Comirnaty vaccine and the Pfizer BioNTech are different. Courtney Friedman ran that claim through the trust index and found out that is not the case.
The vaccines circulating here in the U.S., Pfizer, BioNTech, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, were given emergency use authorization because of the severity of the pandemic. But the process to fully approve the vaccines continued. The FDA officially approved the Pfizer vaccine in late 2021 and the Moderna vaccine earlier this year.
They can't charge for it, they can't brand it, they can't market it until it gets full approval, because the FDA still wants that time to continue to evaluate efficacy and safety.
The Pfizer vaccine was quickly named Comirnaty, a blend of the words COVID, mRNA, and community.
Biologically speaking, the vaccines are the same, though. I mean, the content is the exact same, correct?
Correct. Yes, they're formulated the exact same way. And in this case, it's by the exact same company.
Dr. Jason Bowling is an infectious disease specialist at UT Health San Antonio and the chief epidemiologist at University Health. He said the FDA website lists Comirnaty and Pfizer separately to show the vaccine was under emergency use authorization until it was approved and branded.
So people that had Pfizer BioNTech can finish their series with the Comirnaty vaccine.
Same will go for the Moderna vaccine, which is also being renamed, set to be branded as SpikeVax. Bowling says this will happen for other vaccines as well as their FDA approvals come in. So the claim that the branded vaccine Comirnaty and Pfizer BioNTech vaccines are different is false on the KSAT Trust Index. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
On your screen now, a QR code to scan that will send you to a form to ask any questions or claims that you'd like verified on our Trust Index. Or as always, you can head to ksat.com/Trust Index and find the prompt on that page. Enter your claim. We'll check it out.
You could soon be paying more for guacamole as the U.S. ban on Mexico avocado imports is now in its 4th day. This has restaurants that rely heavily on avocados keeping a close watch on supplies and prices. The owner of Pete's Taco House tells us that it is just another economic strain on top of 2 challenging years.
We're ordering about every day, every other day at least. So the impact's going to be quick as soon as the prices start going up.
And that may not be long. One wholesaler says that quotes for a box of avocados have shot up from $50 to $80 just due to speculation. As for H-E-B, they tell us they are in close contact with their suppliers and they do not foresee any disruption in supply. The U.S. suspended the flow of avocados over the weekend, claiming that an inspector was threatened. Mexico is crying conspiracy in politics, though. This sort of thing has happened before, and local businesses are hopeful that the avocado matter will be resolved soon.
The San Antonio Fire Department getting federal recognition for their safety programs. Today, the U.S. Fire Administration is stopped by Fire Station 1 here in town. Firefighters give a demonstration of 2 programs. The first, the blood program, where firefighters are able to give whole blood transfusions. The second, the Good Sam Dispatcher program, which allows firefighters to assist people without leaving the station, creating safer and more inexpensive services.
They've assessed their risk environment and been able to innovate to meet the type of risk they have here. So certainly a great job matching resources to risk environment and being able to make a difference in the outcome for community.
And get this, the San Antonio Fire Department is the only department in a major city to offer both of those programs. Since last 2018, they've done close to 900 whole blood transfusions, and they've used the Good Sam program about 1,600 times a day.
Wow. All right, let's take a look outside with live cam. I know we keep talking about where we were last year, but when you see beautiful days like today, in comparison to that anniversary, oh, it's even sweeter, Adam.
It is. It makes it much better than what we have going right now is what we're going to have for a few more days for sure. Another cold front to talk about, but it's not going to be anything like what we had 1 year ago. 41 earlier this morning, 75 by the afternoon. The average is 45 and 68. So obviously a little warmer than average, especially later on in the day today. Divine right now 74, Uvalde 73, still 75 Stinson. Then we get down into the 60s as you go northward. Bulverde 69 and Kerrville currently at 68. This evening actually warmer than what we've had the past several nights. We'll see temperatures gradually falling through the 60s and then settle in the upper 50s for overnight low temperatures, but that's going to be with some increased moisture. We'll talk about what that means for the morning commute and even the next system that's going to bring us our cold front and how temperatures will respond in a bit, Myra.
Thanks, Adam. It is a small piece of justice for the families of the victims of the Sandy Hook school shooting, why a gun company is now footing the $1 million bill.
And next, a local art student getting national recognition, how she uses her personal experience with mental health to create something very unique.
Let's take a look at traffic right now. This is the TransGuide camera here at I-10 and Ralph Fair Road. You can see a big tie up there. We got multiple emergency vehicles on the scene, traffic down to just 1 lane. We're checking the details on this, but something to know here happening at I-10 and Ralph Fair.
I'm Stefania Jimenez, and tonight we'll discuss 2 programs that would affect noise here in San Antonio. One of those proposals would tackle the noise coming from construction sites. That vote is coming up soon. And also right now, a pilot program is attempting to tackle noise from the entertainment businesses during overnight hours. We're going to take a look at that pilot program and how enforcement is going with that. Also this, my friends, who could forget where we were at this time last year? Exactly a year ago, many of us were cold, without power. A CPS Energy program was supposed to help those customers. So why were they left angry and confused? The defenders will investigate that tonight. We'll have that and so much more when we see you on the Night Beat.
See you then. Thank you, Stephanie. Well, the work of a young San Antonio artist being showcased on a national level.
RJ Marquez introduces us to this MacArthur senior whose latest piece of art depicts what many teenagers her age are experiencing.
Panic attacks and anxiety.
That's the focus of Alyssa Murphy's recent work of art titled Trapped.
That feeling of trying to remain calm and not show your expression on the outside, but your insides are really like you're screaming.
Murphy is a senior at MacArthur High School. She's part of a high school generation going through the pandemic on top of other daily challenges.
I've always struggled with anxiety and panic attacks for the past couple of years, so I wanted to kind of capture the feeling that I've experienced, and I know that a lot of my friends have experienced.
Alyssa uses hyperrealism to create her art. Trapped is a picture of her mom, but her other favorite is a reflection of her in tears. She says art is a way for her to step out of her comfort zone.
I try to write lists of the emotions and the feelings that I have or I'm trying to express, and then I try to take photographs that capture those.
Her teacher says Alyssa continues to push herself in and out of the classroom.
She's a talented artist, but she's an amazing athlete. I know she's a great, friend to people here at school. She's a leader on campus.
Schwartz says putting her emotions on display to help others is not easy.
Alyssa is taking life experiences and turning them into pieces of artwork that have deeper meaning for her, and I think that's what it's all about.
And her work is getting national attention. Trapped was selected out of more than 1,600 student entries and is being showcased at a national virtual gallery through the end of April.
I think that's really cool that I have a voice and that people related to my artwork, because that's what, as an artist, what you want to.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Some of those are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to think therapeutic as well.
Oh, yes.
Working through it. All right, let's talk about the weather situation right now. And, we've been comparing today to a year ago, and I know that you are very clear, Mr. Caskey, that this was not a weather disaster that happened a year ago.
Absolutely. I do not consider it a natural disaster. It was a civil engineering disaster, a decision-making disaster. You could call it politics. You could call it a lot of things. But overall, it came into infrastructure more than anything. But let's talk about it. This was when it was still fun and games. We woke up to snow on the ground. We went to bed when it was snowing, woke up to fresh powder on the ground. Not even just wet snow, but the powdery snow that we don't often see around here because the air was so dry and cool. 1 year ago, 4 inches on the ground officially at the airport, at least in the morning. We started the day at 9 degrees. Then by the afternoon, we only made it up to 28. That's the big difference that snow cover does to your temperature. You don't get that energy from the sun. Most of the sun's energy reflects right off that snow back into the atmosphere. And so that's why it was a very cool day. Look at this, though. We're currently 71 with a dew point of 47. And I want to talk a little bit more about the dew points because they're going to be on the rise. Take a look at the numbers and especially focus along the Texas coastline where we've got the dew points into the 50s. Already even Pleasanton at 51, Gonzales 50. Well, the wind is coming off the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to transport some of that moisture into our neighborhood, give us increased mugginess tonight and tomorrow. And I do think that's going to lead to some areas of fog. Even drizzle and sprinkles to start your day tomorrow. So even late tonight through the morning commute with the increased moisture in the air, likely to have some dampness and reduced visibility. And that mugginess gets swept away for Thursday and the weekend. But then early next week, I think we'll have a hint of humidity back in the air. You'll notice a little bit of stickiness, kind of that spring-like feel when it comes to the humidity. Right now, temperatures 60s, 70s, Del Rio 78, Alpine 71, Abilene right now at 72 degrees. We're 73 in Uvalde. So for the most part, when you average it out around here near 70, this is what we're expecting tomorrow morning. About 53 in Uvalde, Canyon Lake 55 along with Kerrville, Beeville 57, 57 here in San Antonio. But by the afternoon, we're going to break out into some sunshine starting to the south of San Antonio. So Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, Pleasanton, getting a few more hours of sunshine than what we're expecting here. In turn, into the 80s. Cotulla, you could hit 87 tomorrow. Carrizo Springs 83, Pleasanton about 82, Bernie, Timberwood Park 73, Von Army about 80, and Lavernia about 77. So definitely feeling some warmth tomorrow. And then again, on Thursday, we're talking 70s to near 80 degrees. Cold front hits and then temperatures drop for Friday. It's going to be a brief little cool down, little correction in our temperatures with most of Friday afternoon spent in the 60s, but then we rebound thereafter pretty quickly. And we'll talk about the morning temperatures in just a bit. First, I want to focus on the next system that's headed toward us. It's this nice upper level swirl over Southern California and Nevada, bringing them some areas of precipitation. Not a lot of moisture associated with this. As that moves eastward, it's going to keep the bulk of the energy and rain-making potential far to the north of us. We're talking Interstate 20 in North Texas, then all the way up through Oklahoma. You can see that's where the bulk of the moisture is going to be, and that's where they could even have some severe thunderstorms and then some snow on the backside of it. Over an inch of liquid equivalents in parts of Oklahoma, then eastward toward the Mississippi. But we could use it all across the state. At least parts of Texas are likely to see that rain, particularly northward right along the Red River. And they could use it too, and it looks like they're going to get some as we get into tomorrow night. For us, just dampness, nuisance dampness in the morning. Fog, drizzle, a few sprinkles at 57. Then by the afternoon, 70s, and as I showed you before, even into the 80s, south and west of town. Friday morning, right near freezing. By the afternoon, only near 60 and sunny. And then Saturday morning, we'll get pretty close to freezing again at about 33.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
All right, last night, DeMar was demand, Greg.
He was, and I'll tell you what, thanks to the Spurs, he has really jump-started his career again, allowing him to sign and trade deal with Chicago. When we come back, it was just too much DeMar last night. The Spurs have a reaction to that. And what a finish in high school basketball for Edison last night. Coming up.
I mean, we had something set up, but it didn't go that way, so I just let it fly.
Edison senior shooting guard Mary Esther Sosa saved the day with her game-winning three-pointer and the Golden Bears' thrilling bi-district playoff victory over Harlandale on Big Board Sports. But first, our San Antonio Spurs are now 2-2 on their rodeo road trip, included back-to-back wins against the Hawks in Atlanta, the Pelicans in New Orleans, bookended by losses to Cleveland, most recently last night to the Bulls in Chicago. In that game, former Spurs DeMar DeRozan went off, scoring 40 points against the Silver and Black after the Spurs had spoiled his return to San Antonio last month with a 131-122 victory. 19 of DeRozan's 40 points came in the fourth quarter against his former team, and it was his seventh game of scoring at least 30 or more points. No other member of the Bulls has been able to do that since Michael Jordan during the 1996-97 season. And get this, DeRozan leads the NBA in fourth-quarter points with 431 this season. It all added up to a 120-109 loss for the Spurs.
DeMar had a great night. He was super. But we could have done a better job on him, and we didn't. No matter who we put on him, whatever scheme we were trying to use, we did not execute it as we would like. And so the combination of him being super and us not executing very well was a big contributor to losing the game.
He's playing at such a high level. We've tried about every defense on him tonight, and he still was able to, get his 40 or whatever it was. So have a lot of respect for him. I always have. He's unguardable at times. So they're playing really well. We gave ourselves a chance tonight, but he was just a little too much for us.
All right, they'll wrap up the first half of the rodeo road trip when they take on Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Los Angeles Rams head coach Sean McVay indicated before becoming the youngest coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl at 36 that he's not in it for the long haul, calling it a work-life balance now that he is engaged. So along those lines, what about Aaron Donald, who won his first Super Bowl at the age of 30? He didn't shut down that possibility either, even after he was so dominating the Super Bowl 56, and in fact sealed the win for the Rams when he forced Joe Burrow to get rid of the ball on fourth down to avoid the sack of the 23-20 victory. Donald was surrounded by his family after the game, including his 8-year-old daughter, Jada.
I'm just in the moment right now. I'm going to join this with my family. I got my kids. I promised my daughter this when she was 5 years old. They're playing the confetti. She got to do that today. Was that fun?
Yeah, she liked it. A year removed from missing the playoffs, the Edison girls basketball team is moving on to the area round after a thrilling 57-56 victory over Harlandale in the bi-district round last night at the Alamo Convocation Center. The Golden Bears led by 19 points midway through the third quarter, thanks to standout performances from Tristan Munoz and Amber Gomez. But the Indians rallied to retake the lead with 23 seconds left to play on this basket from Cassia Sandoval. With the clock winding down, the ball wound up in the hands of senior Mary Esther Sosa, and she hit the eventual game-winning three to give Edison a 1-point lead. Gomez forced a steal and started the celebration as the Golden Bears are moving on to the next round.
We've been working from when we played this team the beginning of the season. We had lost in overtime, and we're such a different team from when we started before. So I just think we've been working really hard to get to where we are now.
All right, the Golden Bears will next face Cedar Park in the area around date and time to be determined. We'll have more high school basketball playoffs tonight, including live on our BGC app in about 3 minutes.
I like where she said, I just let it fly.
Yeah.
You got it. That's great.
Got to let it fly. Thanks, Greg.
Our KSAT Q&A is up next. For the first time in decades, there will be someone new leading Bexar County as Bexar County Judge, head of County Commissioner's Court. Of course, that's after Nelson Wolff stepping down after those 2 decades. So that has opened the door for some new faces to enter this race, but some very familiar. And all week we are talking to the candidates in this race. Yesterday, we talked with Judge Peter Sakai. Tomorrow, we have Isalise Mesa Gonzalez, who is running. And then on Friday, we'll be talking to Trish DeBerry, also in this contest. But let's talk about today. We are joined now by State Representative Ina Minjarez, who is also running for Bexar County Judge. You have served District 124 almost 7 years now. So talk about why enter this race. Why do you want to be Bexar County Judge?
You know, it was unforeseen that Judge Wolff, after serving 20 plus years as our county judge, was going to retire. An opportunity like this doesn't happen every day. And so I had a number of community leaders and family and just constituents in the district reach out and talk to me about considering running for this position. You know, I've got the experience. I've learned a lot at the legislature. Many of the issues that I dealt with are going to come before Commissioner's Court. You know, I was a Bexar County member on appropriations, which decided, you know, how to appropriate over $200 billion to the state of Texas. And so I bring that key experience, you know, the budget experience, infrastructure, health and human services. I bring a lot to the table, and I decided I'm ready to come home and lead the county.
What are 3 issues that you plan on focusing on? I mean, obviously there's probably more than 3, but what are 3 major issues that you plan on focusing on if you're elected?
Sure. You know, one of the number one priority definitely is meaningful property tax reform. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, our county homeowners want meaningful property tax reform. In addition to that is looking into our infrastructure needs. The Bexar County is growing leaps and bounds, and we've got to figure out how we handle that growth in a good way, in a smart way. And then also looking at community health and safety. You know, after the pandemic, we've got a lot of challenges ahead, and we've also got to consider how we keep our neighborhoods safe. So, yes, you're right. There are a lot of issues to contend with, but those are my 3 priorities.
So let's talk about one more here. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office, the issue specifically when it comes to finances within the Sheriff's Office, overtime within the jail. It has been an issue for years for multiple sheriffs who have served in that position. So is there something that you think needs to be done to address that in order to make sure that we're not continually paying and really increasing the budget for overtime for that department?
Most definitely. We can't continue to be kicking the can down the road. Taxpayers are requiring accountability. And you're right. I was once a former prosecutor in 2000 to 2006, and the jail was a problem then. Overtime was a problem then. So what I'm hoping is, you know, now that the Commissioner's Court has commissioned 2 studies in the jail, I want to look at what the proposals are, what was found in that study. But in addition, I want to visit with the rank and file. I want to visit with the sheriff. I want to visit with all of the stakeholders, because at the end of the day, this is something we've got to resolve. There needs to be transparency and accountability, but I also want to make sure that our sheriffs, our detention officers are taken care of, but in addition to ensuring inmate safety as well.
What do you believe sets you apart from the other candidates that are in this race?
Definitely my legislative experience. You know, I got incredible experience in the Texas House serving on key committees, as I mentioned before, appropriations, handling the budget, handling infrastructure and transportation. I've also served on the cybersecurity committee, health and human services. I got key experience in the legislature that I can bring home and get to work, hopefully if elected. And I will say, you know, Commissioner Justin Rodriguez and also our Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolff got their training at the legislature as well.
You know, we are 2 years, of course, into this pandemic, and that has certainly been, and it's had an effect statewide, nationwide, of course. Is there something when it comes to getting us, you know, back on track in terms of the economy post-pandemic? I hope that's something we can say soon. Yeah. But post-pandemic, is there something you'd like to focus on there?
You know, I definitely want to focus on really helping our small businesses. So many of our mom and pop businesses closed their doors. Dreams were shattered. And I don't believe that a lot of them got the resources and the support that they needed during that time. So I definitely want to visit with our small business owners throughout the county and figure out a way how to give them the help that they need, because they are the backbone of our economy. And if they thrive, the county of Bear thrives as well. But they definitely need a seat at the table, and we owe that to them.
Does this affect your campaigning at all with the pandemic that's out there? Early voting started yesterday. I mean, mass social distancing, all of those things. I mean, does that affect your physical campaign for Bear County Judge?
You know, we are doing things according to CDC guidelines. You know, we continue to walk and have an aggressive field campaign, but we're doing it within the guidelines. We're fully masked. We knock on the door, step away from that front door, putting social distancing there. We're executing a plan. We have a strategy in place, and we're doing what we need to do to ensure that we're victorious in this campaign.
Representative Ina Minhada running for Bear County Judge. Thanks for sharing some time with us here this evening. We'll be continuing our conversation about some of these topics with some of the other candidates in the race as we continue the week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. We'll be right back.
After 9 years, the families of the victims from the Sandy Hook school shooting getting a small glimpse of justice today. They were awarded $73 million in a settlement with gunmaker Remington and its insurers footing the bill. Remington manufactured the Bushmaster AR-15 style rifle that was used in the 2012 attack that left 20 children and 6 adults dead in Newtown, Connecticut. With Remington now in bankruptcy, the families will split the settlement. Attorneys for the families claimed that Remington knowingly and negligently marketed military-grade weapons to unstable individuals.
Every single day we miss who Rachel would be.
It's not a useful weapon for hunting or for self-defense. It was designed to kill quickly and efficiently.
The other key part of this deal is the families have gained access to thousands of pages of internal company documents, and their attorneys say that they have the right to make those public. We'll be right back. And now the wait is over. After 3 years with no host, the 94th Academy Awards will be hosted by Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes.
The show will be live from the Dolby Theater in Hollywood on March 27th. ABC's Laura Spencer has the details.
Good morning, America. I'm not sure who thought this was a good idea, but I am hosting the Oscars along with my good friend Wanda Sykes and Regina Hall. I better go watch some movies.
Regina, Amy, Wanda making history. The first time 3 women have ever been named the hosts of Hollywood's biggest night. Schumer, an actress, writer, producer, and comedian known for her cutting-edge humor.
In movies and TV shows, the guy always gets down on one knee, right? And the girl's always shocked.
She'll share the stage with fellow comedic powerhouse Wanda Sykes.
There's no way in the world men will put up with hot flashes. No way in the world. I think if a man had 2 hot flashes, they would blow the sun up.
And actress Regina Hall.
Tell them I'd be honored.
In recent weeks, there were questions about whether or not the show would even have a host this year at all.
And congratulations to all of you. You made it. We're at the Oscars.
Last emceed by Jimmy Kimmel in 2018, the show has been without a host ever since.
And Mike Stray, how you doing, sir?
The show's producer, Will Packer, spoke to Michael Strahan about it last month.
Michael, tell Will my daughter wants Tom Holland.
Oh, George's daughter wants Tom Holland. Noted. That carries a lot of weight with me.
And while there may be no bigger honor for an actor, the host can often fall under intense scrutiny. But that doesn't stop many of them from returning to the Oscar stage. The legendary Bob Hope did it a whopping 19 times. And Billy Crystal, 9 times.
It's a wonderful night for Oscar, Oscar, Oscar. Who will win?
It was 4 times for Whoopi Goldberg, the first woman and African-American to ever host the show solo.
Things are a little different. The host is wearing a dress. Yes.
And while we don't know much about the show itself, we do know with these 3 women, anything can happen.
Has it really been 3 years since a host?
Yeah, I know.
It seems like not that long, but also
Yeah.
the last 2 years, I mean, like that.
Yeah. We've had so much stuff to pay attention to that
Yeah.
the Oscars really kind of weren't the focus of my attention the last few years anyway, Adam. I'm just going to put it that way. But anyway, weather-wise, we are in a really great, groove right now.
2 thumbs up.
We've got our weather groove back.
2 thumbs, 2 toes, or as Ted Lasso would call them, foot fingers, right?
Sure.
I love that.
I love that line.
That's so good.
Look at your foot fingers. All right. Where are we going with this? I don't know.
We never do.
All right, but we do have some drizzle and fog to talk about for tomorrow morning. Then also a cold front that's going to hit us, and you'll feel that cold front by Friday. But 70s the next couple of days. A bit breezy as well. You'll notice the wind periodically tomorrow and Thursday, then near freezing by Friday morning. Temperatures are going to take a bit of a dive. Now, really, actually unseasonably warm the next couple of nights. Tonight and tomorrow night, we'll have temperatures only falling down into the mid and upper 50s. So not as cool at the bus stop the next couple of mornings. But by Friday morning, look at that morning temperature, and even Saturday, down to 33. So we could even have a light freeze around town at that point. But right now we're at 71 degrees. Beautiful sunset that has been taking shape across the Alamo City. The sun is officially set, and that time now is at 6:23 p.m., but we still have a glow on the horizon. Dew point of 47, and temperatures right now, for the most part, right near 70 degrees. Obviously a mixture of 60s and some 70s. I do think we'll make it into the 80s tomorrow, farther south of town. But right now this evening, a slow temperature drop. We've got an increase in the humidity, and despite the clear sky, temperatures aren't going to fall off all that quickly. So right now, Helotes, you're 65 along with Canyon Lake, Stinson 75, and Bernie right now at 64. Tomorrow morning, this is what we're anticipating. For the most part, 50s. I mean, mid and upper 50s to start the day tomorrow. By the afternoon, once we get rid of the fog and low clouds, I think we'll get well into the 80s south of San Antonio. I mean, 83 Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, 87, Laredo 88 for the high temperature, because I do think the sky will clear from the south to the north throughout the day tomorrow, and that's going to give locations south of town a few more hours of sunshine to help boost their temperatures. Whereas Timberwood Park about 73, Lake Hill 75, but 80 in Von Army and Castroville tomorrow afternoon. So 70s to even some 80s next couple of afternoons. But by Friday, most of the afternoon will be spent in the 50s with that maximum high temperature briefly at 60 degrees. And you see how temperatures quickly rebound thereafter. Kind of like the last front we had that affected us last weekend. Yeah, we had one cooler day, but then whoop, temperatures went right back up. All right, so here's the big picture. Here's the next system that's affecting us. You see the swirl here, Southern California. A little bit of precipitation associated with that right now. These are the types of systems we look for to drop down into Mexico, to throw some good energy our way and kickstart some showers. That's not going to be the case for us with this system. Here's our future cast. We'll have the dampness tomorrow morning, drizzle, fog, sprinkles, but just nuisance moisture. Most of the activity with this next system and its energy is going to be in North Texas, all the way up into Oklahoma, and then points even northeastward into Arkansas and beyond. That's where we could even have some severe weather, basically along and north of I-20 all the way up into Oklahoma. Then some snow on the backside of it. It's just too far away from us. So 20% chance tomorrow and tomorrow night for us, and then again early next week, another 20% chance with a little shift in our pattern. You can cross your fingers, but right now, I don't have all that much confidence in much rain anytime soon. Just reduced visibility for the morning commute tomorrow at 57. By the afternoon, we're in the 70s to near 80, and then back down near freezing by Friday and Saturday mornings.
Keeping us on our toes. Thanks, Adam.
On our foot fingers.
On our foot fingers.
In case you missed it, coming up next.
Oh, Ted Lasso.
And a good morning to you. It is Tuesday, February 15th.
Cleanup is underway after a cargo train derails in Colorado. 7 lumber cars went off the tracks on Saturday, with 3 of them plunging into a river. The rail cars were empty at the time. Nobody was hurt in that incident. Cleanup got underway immediately, with crews using tractors to haul the rail cars out of the river. Still no word on what led to the cars derailing.
And overseas tensions could have an impact on your wallet here at home.
Prices for gas and groceries could spike if Russia invades Ukraine. That's because Russia is the world's second largest producer of oil, and prices are already spiking. Global food prices could also increase, and the reason? Russia is the world's top exporter of wheat, and Ukraine produces wheat and corn.
The ex-president of Honduras has been arrested, putting the U.S. one step closer to meeting a request for extradition to the U.S. Juan Orlando Hernandez is wanted back in the U.S. on drug trafficking and weapons charges. He's accused of trafficking 500,000 kilograms of cocaine into the U.S. since 2004. He was arrested today, less than 3 weeks after he left office.
A new at 5, a man who led police on a vehicle chase around the city is now in handcuffs. This is after he crashed into a fire hydrant at South Laredo and Loma Vista. That's on the west side. State troopers are telling us that one trooper tried to make a stop at South Presa and Hot Wells, but the suspect took off, and that's when SAPD's helicopter got involved and then followed that suspect to the area where he crashed.
That is all our time. Thanks so much for watching the news at 6.
See you back here on the Night Beat at 10.